Whose child is that?
No, it's not. No.
There is a specific kind of terror that spreads through a monarchy when a royal baby does not resemble the future king. Not whispers. Not gossip. Fear. Because inside Buckingham Palace, bloodlines were everything. And on the morning, Queen Margaret received the first medical report about the unborn heir, the monarchy began quietly collapsing from the inside. Princess Catherine was pregnant, but according to palace doctors, the child carried genetic traits that did not match Prince Edward, the future King of Britain. And suddenly, the crown faced a scandal powerful enough to destroy the royal family forever. To the public, Catherine and Edward looked perfect together, elegant, graceful, untouchable, but behind palace walls, their marriage had been dying for years. Edward was distant, cold, consumed by royal duty, and Catherine had made the catastrophic mistake of finding comfort in the one man she was never supposed to love, Prince Adrian, Edward's younger brother. Affair began quietly, late-night conversations, private garden walks, lingering glances no one was supposed to notice, until one stormy evening inside Balmoral Castle. Everything changed. Now, Catherine sat frozen inside Buckingham Palace while royal physicians nervously studied. Ultrasound scans spread across a long mahogany table. Queen Margaret's face had gone completely pale. That's impossible, she whispered. The chief physician swallowed hard. Your Majesty, the baby appears to carry a rare hereditary trait. Prince Edward frowned immediately. What kind of trait? The doctor hesitated. Then came the sentence that shattered the room. The child has Adrian's eyes. Silence. Absolute silence. Prince Edward slowly turned toward his younger brother, and for the first time in years, the future king looked ready to destroy someone. Prince Adrian went pale instantly. Edward. But the damage was already done. Queen Margaret stood so quickly her chair nearly crashed backward. No one leaves this room, she snapped. Panic spread through Buckingham Palace within minutes. Royal staff whispered in corridors. Security locked down the private wing. Phones disappeared, because if the public discovered the future heir might belong to the wrong prince, the monarchy itself could collapse. Catherine sat silently while the royal family unraveled around her, and somehow, that silence made everything worse. Prince Edward stepped toward her slowly, his voice low, dangerously calm. Tell me the truth. Catherine's eyes filled with tears, but before she could speak, Prince Adrian suddenly stepped forward. It's my fault. The room froze. Queen Margaret looked physically ill now. Edward stared at his brother like he no longer recognized him. You. Adrian lowered his head. We never meant for this to happen. That sentence detonated inside Buckingham Palace like a bomb. The future queen had betrayed the crown with the future king's own brother, and now she was carrying a child who might never legally inherit the throne. Queen Margaret collapsed slowly into her chair. You've destroyed this family, she whispered. But the real disaster came hours later. Because someone leaked the story. By midnight, British tabloids exploded with headlines. Is the royal baby really the future king's? Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace. News helicopters circled above London. Parliament demanded answers, and inside the palace, Prince Edward disappeared. No security, no statement, nothing. For 12 terrifying hours, nobody knew where the future king had gone. Then at dawn, Edward returned carrying a sealed DNA report. Royal family gathered in silence while he placed the envelope onto the table. Queen Margaret's hands trembled violently as she opened it. Her eyes scanned the results once. Then again. And suddenly, the queen looked terrified. Not relieved. Terrified. Prince Adrian frowned immediately. What is it? But Queen Margaret said nothing, because the truth inside that envelope was far worse than anyone imagined. Prince Edward finally spoke coldly. "The child is mine." Catherine burst into tears immediately. Adrian stepped backward in shock, but Edward wasn't finished. He slowly turned toward the Queen. And for the first time in his life, the future king looked at his mother like an enemy. "Tell them." The room froze. Queen Margaret's face lost all color. "Edward," she whispered weakly, "tell them the truth." Silence swallowed Buckingham Palace. Hold that. Then Edward revealed the secret that shattered the monarchy forever. Prince Adrian was never adopted. Edward was. The future king of Britain was not biologically royal at all. 32 years earlier, Queen Margaret secretly switched newborn heirs after a devastating royal childbirth tragedy threatened the monarchy with succession chaos. Only 3 people in the world knew: the Queen and the palace. Doctor, who had just died 2 weeks earlier, Adrian, the forgotten younger brother, had always been the true blood heir to the throne. The room physically reeled in shock. Prince Adrian stared at the Queen in disbelief. "No." Queen Margaret burst into tears. "I did it to save this family." But nobody was listening anymore. Because suddenly everything made sense. The favoritism, the resentment, the emotional distance between the brothers. The monarchy had been built on a lie for more than 3 decades. And now the child Catherine carried was not just another royal baby. It was the first legitimate heir in an entire generation. Outside Buckingham Palace, crowds screamed beneath flashing cameras and breaking news banners. But inside the palace, the monarchy was already collapsing. Prince Edward looked toward Adrian one final time. There was heartbreak in his eyes now, not anger. Just exhaustion. "I spent my whole life protecting the crown that was never mine." Then he slowly removed the royal signet ring from his finger and placed it onto the table. Queen Margaret gasped, because everyone inside the room understood exactly what that meant. The future king was walking away from the throne. Prince Adrian looked horrified. "You can't do this." Edward gave a hollow smile. "No, Adrian. I think this family has done enough already." And with that, the man Britain spent his entire life preparing to become king walked out of Buckingham Palace forever, leaving behind a broken queen, a terrified monarchy, and a crown that suddenly belonged to the wrong brother. 3 days later, the palace released a carefully worded statement about private family matters. But the truth had already leaked. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace demanding answers. Parliament launched investigations. And for the first time in modern history, people openly questioned whether the monarchy should survive at all. But perhaps the cruelest part of the scandal was that despite all the betrayal, lies, and heartbreak, Prince Edward still visited Catherine privately the night before he disappeared from public life forever. Not to accuse her, not to blame her, but simply to place one hand gently against her stomach and whisper goodbye to the child who would inherit the throne he never truly owned. If you enjoyed this cinematic, royal drama filled with betrayal, forbidden love, hidden bloodlines, and shocking palace secrets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unforgettable royal stories every week.